We're here at MGM Grand. 5 years now of Double or Nothing.
Someone tweeted me recently that we were the first tag match in AEW history, like actual AEW. I don't know if that's true or just someone just made some stuff up on the internet.
Most things on the internet are true,
Yeah.
I believe.
That was crazy then. It's still crazy now.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense. This has been 5 years of... I wrestled for 18 years just on the indies and, like, never even came close to anything like this. And now to do it all the time.
It's
insane.
crazy. Yeah, like, for me, I remember watching that first Double or Nothing. I was home. We lived just down the street from here. And when John made his debut here, to imagine, like, that moment to now being here, 5 of these, how much this company has grown in 5 years is wild. And you're one of the OGs. Yeah,
I think, I don't have a number, but I'm pretty sure, like, me and Trent and I gotta use my college degree for something. I think we were in, like, the top 10 of guys signed, at least wrestler-wise. Like, there was the first event, and we were at the second one here in Vegas, actually. And we were, like, the 8th and 9th guys signed in the company, I'm pretty sure.
And, I mean, look at the roster now. It's so wild.
Signed a few more guys.
We signed
a couple more guys.
And, like, a lot of huge names. Like, the fact that this has become, like, such a destination place, you guys must be pretty proud for having put in all that, like, groundwork to making this such a great place to come to.
Backstage a lot nowadays, I look around at all the guys that weren't there when we started, thinking about in the locker room, like, you weren't here, you weren't here, you weren't here. There's only a handful of us left that were, like, day one guys, so... I do take pride in that.
You should. You should be collecting commissions off those contracts, too, I would say.
Is that a thing? Can I get that?
Maybe. We should talk about that. Maybe it's like a cool 10% off the top, something like that.
I got to get a lawyer and then talk to him.
Then you got to pay the lawyer. It might not be worth it. I don't know. Never mind. It's probably not worth it. As a professional wrestler's career ends, there's always a big question mark of what is next. You dedicate your entire life to this craft. What do you do? I had to sit down with Chuck Taylor to see what's next for Chucky T. These rumors that we've been seeing on the internet, what is happening, the injury, can you give me a rundown?
Yeah, sure. In October, I believe, I injured my ankle originally. My foot was down, and it was in a match on Rampage, I believe. We were tagging with the Hardy Boys against the Jericho...
Hardys.
Are we not allowed to say boys?
I don't think so.
Are they men now?
The Hardy men.
They've grown up? Okay, we were tagging
the Hardy guys.
The Hardy men. And I took a drop kick in the ropes, and as I was going out, I left my ankle out, and Angelo fell on my ankle. It's honestly my fault. And I went to the doctor, and they told me that I had they believed a bruised talus, which is apparently a bone inside your foot that connects these two to the rest of your foot, which I had never heard of before.
Okay.
And some ligament damage, and they thought I could possibly rehab it.
So what happened from that?
And then I did rehab, and it didn't get better, and I went back, and they believe that I need surgery now.
So to go from October to where we're at now, I mean, that's a long road to be kind of sitting and waiting. So what has that, like, in-between time been like to have that injury, to sort of twiddling your thumbs, figuring out what you're supposed to be doing?
I honestly I've been wrestling for 23 years now, and the longest I ever had off was the beginning of COVID.
Yeah.
The longest I went without taking a bump was like the 5 weeks or whatever when COVID first started before we came back. And so it was the first time I'd ever had time off. You don't want it for an injury, but
of course.
It was interesting to not, like, I'm just so used to, like, okay, time to go wrestle.
Yeah.
And to not do that is weird.
That must have been, like, what did you do with your time, like, mentally and physically? What did that do to you to have that time kind of to yourself to sit and figure out what's going on? Not to make it dark at 9 a.m. in the morning for you, but walk me through it.
It really wasn't, I didn't feel that lost or dark or anything like that. Like, I mean, I got to play some video games. I got to watch some movies.
Okay.
I got to hang out. I was still mostly on the road. I didn't come off the road for that much because I'm trying to learn some more backstage stuff, which I've always been interested in. And, so it wasn't that bad. But then finding out that, like, no, your career might be over is an odd feeling.
Yeah. So is it still at a might level? Are we at might be over?
I can get surgery, and then they can, once I heal from that, I can hopefully reassess.
Oh, so that's great.
Yeah.
There's hope.
maybe it's me hoping against hope, but we've seen a lot of guys and gals come back from career-ending injuries here.
Right, right. How was the pain? Like, what is the day-to-day like for you, pain-wise?
Weirdly, it doesn't hurt that bad. I can walk fine.
Yeah.
I wear a brace on it all the time now, like this little thing. I was in a boot for a while, but yeah, it doesn't really hurt that bad. I know if I tried to like do a backflip and land on my feet, which I used to be able to do, I think it would fall off.
We don't want that.
No.
Just dangling, like, hanging on by a thread.
You know, wandering around backstage for 9 hours a day is fine.
On these like concrete floors and stuff too. I mean, that's a good test. Do you feel like if it were a situation where you were maybe to like adjust your style a little bit, do you think that that's something that you'd be able to maybe keep going?
I think so. I definitely wouldn't. Believe it or not, I don't know if I used to be a high flyer. I used to be young and athletic and handsome. I don't know what happened. But yeah, I think I could. Again, maybe, you know, if Doc were here right now, he'd be like, no, sorry, this is never going to happen. But I think at some point I could probably adjust my style a little bit. Plus, I'm 38 now. Like I said, I've been wrestling for 23 years. Like, how long can I keep doing backflips, you know? Anyway.
Who wants to do backflips anymore, right? Like, it's overrated. There's other guys that do it. Let them do it.
There's so many guys that do it better than me.
You don't need to do it. Take it out of your toolkit. You don't need to do it anymore. Okay, so you talked about wanting to learn about more of the backstage, television production, maybe match producing. How has that been going?
I've really enjoyed it. I mean, I have a college degree in television production already. That probably is obsolete because it was from 15 years ago from a state school in Kentucky. But no, I originally used to edit videos for the internet and stuff like that. That actually helped me. I don't know, can I say Ricochet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Trevor, Ricochet?
Yeah. I helped train Ricochet, and we used to travel together, and I edited our videos together to like Screamo songs in 2002, and that helped us get booked in different places.
It worked out for both of you.
It did.
Everyone's working and employed, so that's great.
That was always the fallback plan. Like I went to school for TV production. Well, I loved it, and that was like, okay, if I don't make it in wrestling, which seemed entirely impossible at the time, I can at least fall back and do something backstage. And what little I've done here, I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's cool to be able to like switch roles like that, especially now. If you say like the 23 years of pro wrestling to now have all of that under your belt to now kind of switch gears and see how you can help some of the younger talent. How is it sort of just like mentally switching roles like that? Like it's one thing to just like enjoy it.
I've always enjoyed that part of wrestling. I think when you're making the match, and I'm gonna get too deep into baseball here, but like I've always enjoyed like picking out different ideas and putting them together and stuff like that. And thankfully, I was worried about when I started to transition into the backstage role that people would be like, why? You're not good at it. But a lot of people were like, no, you'd be great at that.
Yeah.
Like that's what you've been doing for years. So yeah, being able to help people put together ideas and take their ideas and add stuff and move it around if it needs to be. It's like a fun puzzle.
Well, it is really funny too, even like being in wrestling for as long as you have, and there's always more to learn, and the business is constantly changing. Like there's never that like, I think I've learned just about everything I need to know.
I can graduate now.
Yeah, there's always more to learn and more things to apply and whatnot. So if you were to be done, your final match would have been that parking lot brawl with Trent. How do you feel about if that was your last match? You guys beat the ever-loving shit out of each other.
I'm still messed up with my arms all.
Did you go into that match with that in mind of like, this could be my last hurrah, let's really give it?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, I actually went to a couple days after the show, I went to a putt-putt bar in Philadelphia where I live. And I was reaching for a putter, and the bartender guy goes, oh, do you have a cat? And I was like, what? And I was like, oh, no. And then I'm not gonna explain 30 minutes of like, well, there's wrestling, and then we did this, and then I was like, no, I had a car wreck. And he goes, okay.
Yep, fair enough. It probably felt like you were in a car wreck after that match.
It did, yeah. Weirdly, like if that is it, I mean, I couldn't ask for a better way to go out, honestly, like creatively, like to break up with my best friend we'd been together, I think 11 years, 10, 11 years. To have Orange there and Statlander there, and to have a match that we made at least popular and famous in AEW.
Yeah.
Like, I know there have been other parking lot fights in other places, but like that, we were kind of synonymous with that match, I think. We'd had 3. That was our 3rd. and to be able to say shit on Dynamite that week, and then get my dog on Collision.
Hell yeah.
And then go out and, you know, I mean, if you would have told me I would have been able to do that even like 6 years ago, I would have been like, no, absolutely not.
Did it feel, I guess for you to just walk me through what that was like for the best friends breaking up. I mean, that's huge.
Yeah.
I felt that at my core. I can't imagine what you were going through.
Yeah, it is weird. Even like what, tomorrow, it's Saturday now, tomorrow night at the pay-per-view, it's Orange versus Trent. And to see them two on opposite sides of even just a card, it feels strange.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like we started together, and I could be wrong, I'm bad at dates. 2012 or 13 in PWG. And then, you know, we tagged in Ring of Honor in New Japan, now here.
Yeah.
And I've known Orange since 2006. And he and I used to live together.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of history between you guys. Okay, so if the parking lot fight was supposed to be your last match, what are some of the matches throughout this 23-year career that you really hang your hat on? I mean, you've been able to work with everybody.
There's a few from Chikara that I'm really proud of. We had it was me and Icarus against Soldier and Fire Ant in a hair versus mask match that I really enjoyed. It was in Philadelphia. It was in the ECW arena. The crowd was awesome for it. I'm really proud of that one from, it was like 2009, I think. Various ones in like Dragon Gate USA, and then I went over to Dragon Gate proper in Japan. PWG, I had a couple matches against Zack Sabre Jr. to win the PWG title. That's when I was, sadly to say, I was honestly at my best then, I think.
Yeah.
That was my best run, was like a PWG run that happened right before AEW started, and then, you know, time and stuff catches up with you after that. But I'm proud of all the parking lot fights we did.
Yeah.
The arcade match we did with Kip and Miro. I think maybe I'm just a deathmatch guy that didn't realize it. I just really enjoy them.
It's funny how that happens sometimes, right?
Yeah,
All of a sudden.
like your husband used to be like a football player, jock guy, and then he's like, oh wait, I can just hit people with stuff? It's way more fun.
No, I know. You guys are all a little bit bonkers.
Yeah,
talk to me about making the children cry. What was that all about? You were like memeable before memes were a meme.
Yeah.
Making children cry, throwing grenades. Walk me through some of that stuff.
I was like, weirdly, Jericho texted me the other day a video of me throwing a grenade in Chikara, I believe.
Yeah.
And he was like, man, I didn't know you were so dangerous. And I was like, if you would have told me when I did that like, yeah, Chris Jericho's gonna text you about this one day. I loved being a heel. It's so much more fun than being a good guy. It's so much easier. It's way easier to get people to hate you than it is to like you. And so just the back half of my career, I've just been mostly a babyface, a good guy.
Yeah, I only know babyface.
I know.
Chuck.
I used to be a real shithead. Come out and there's 14 people in the crowd and I make 2 children cry.
Watching that video back and like the first little girl cries and you're like, oh, I got the second little boy to cry too. Poor kid.
I used to be able to do that high eagle screech too.
Can you do it now?
No, I got
Conjure the eagle. There's an eagle or a hawk or something in here.
There's a baby apex predator bird in here somewhere.
Yeah, it flew by moments ago. It's too bad the cameras weren't rolling.
I got clotheslined in the throat, and now I can't do it anymore.
Really?
Yeah. And now, you know how your ears pop on airplanes?
Yeah.
My throat pops on airplanes.
What?
Yeah, it's weird.
Like a hiccup?
But in my, it's like that in my throat.
That's
sometimes
weird.
on airplanes.
Have you ever heard that looked at? You go to an ENT on that guy or what?
No.
That's
I didn't have insurance when that happened. I go pay to have somebody tell me your throat's messed up.
Fair enough, fair enough. We were talking before, I know that this might not be interesting to anybody else, but I want to talk to you about it, is the packing regime that you have. You've been packing your bag the exact same way for these 23 years?
Yeah.
What's up with that? Little OCD?
I don't know, maybe just on, I have 2 OCD things.
Okay.
I have, the cash in my wallet has to be in order facing the same way.
Oh.
But I rarely have cash anymore. But like, yeah, if like a 1 was upside down behind a 20, I'd have a little panic attack.
Okay. Something to look into.
I like knowing I can look at my bag and know what I've forgotten. So like I would have my kick pads here, my shoes together like this, like 69. And then underwear and socks. I just like knowing where everything is so I can. But then my Dustin bag, not my wrestling bag, just like the bag I take for me is.
Yeah.
I could have a backpack and I'll fill it up, or you could give me 3 giant suitcases and I'll just put stuff in them until it's full.
I did that this week, and let me tell you, I
so
regret
much
it.
stuff.
I've got stuff everywhere.
Yeah.
Our Airbnb is like a bag exploded with clothes, and then I ordered more clothes on top of that because everything I packed was shit. So
Yeah, I don't even like what I brought, but it was 65 pounds. I don't even know how that's possible.
What?
Yeah.
How much did they charge you for that? They must have charged you for 65?
No, I think 70 they'll start to charge you. I found this
Really?
out. I have status, so I get 3 free bags. So.
I mean, I get status too, but
Yeah.
sometimes you hit like 55 and you like don't want to make eye contact because they're like, you want to take something out of that bag?
But it was,
No.
mine was 65, and Statlander and I were on the same flight, and hers was 71, and they were like, they made her take stuff out of it. I think we have the
Wow.
same status.
7, that's a lot. Like, I
American.
don't think that my bag could even, I don't know, I guess if you're walking around a bunch of championship belts or something, you get pretty heavy, but.
Xbox in there.
Oh, okay, all right.
And a bunch of waters I stole from catering. I don't guess it's stealing. I think they're for us.
They're
but
for you.
Yeah,
You
take
can
like
have
11
them.
of them.
You can have them. You set up Xbox in your room?
Yeah.
What are you playing?
I just watched the Fallout show.
Okay.
So I started replaying New Vegas for the first time in a while.
Okay.
It's awesome.
Okay.
But I mostly play like spooky horror games and like NBA 2K.
Okay.
Those are my games mostly.
We're in Vegas this week. Are you going out to do anything? What do you do?
Like with my life?
Yeah. What do you do with your life?
I don't know.
When you're not wrestling?
Yeah, I think we're gonna be. I'm pretty busy. I got in Thursday afternoon, and Harley Cameron had a show.
Oh, did you go to that?
I did.
Great. She's amazing.
Yeah, she's great. She rocked out. I danced what little I can with my ankle.
Yeah. Shuffle a little bit.
I'm pretty busy today with because we have Collision tonight, and
Are you producing tonight then?
I believe so.
Okay.
And I think after the show, I think we're gonna go through some stuff, and then tomorrow's a pay-per-view. I like gambling.
Oh, you do?
I'm not a degenerate or anything like some of the guys.
What's your game?
I like blackjack.
Okay.
Because it's a fun game to play, and you can play for a minute without like losing all your money.
From like the 6 years I lived in Las Vegas, I never learned how to play any games. Like I'll maybe hit some slots here and there, but
Slots is just press a button and your money goes away.
I know, but you get a free cocktail and you can
That's the-
smoke inside. And I don't recommend doing any of these things, guys. But
You got to find where the waitresses come out and get by the
just
slot
pull
near
up
the
right
door,
there.
yeah, so they can
keep them
quick.
coming.
Yeah.
Keep them coming. All right. Well, listen. I'm excited to know that it's not a period at the end of the statement of like maybe you're done. It sounds hopeful that perhaps you can have the surgery. Is the surgery scheduled?
No, I want to. My idea was to, because it's not really emergency. They
Right.
said, like, I can't do anything athletic, but they said eventually I'll get terrible arthritis.
Oh, shit,
And then all they can
okay.
do is fuse it. But like that's years down the line. So I'm hoping maybe take the summer to really feel comfortable in the job. I don't want to
Yeah.
learn half of it and then
Sure.
piss off for a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
So hopefully after the summer
Okay.
is my hopes.
All right.
But I still, how did I say it? Wrestling as a verb to me, I didn't love it as much as I used to, but I still have wrestling as a noun
Okay.
more than ever. And
Oh, interesting.
yeah.
What were you not loving about it verb-wise?
It's just getting old and beat up, and like it
Yeah.
hurts. And knowing you're kind of reaching the end of your career, it kind of puts things into perspective. That
Sure.
I don't really want to be a broken down guy just because I wanted like another couple years in the sun.
Sure,
so.
yeah, of course. But to still have that love and that passion for wrestling as a whole and to still be in this industry and contributing in another way is amazing.
Yeah, it's crazy. I'd love to be a manager, a commentator. I've done all that kind
Hell
of stuff
yeah.
before too. So
Yes.
hopefully I can do something in front of the camera too.
Well, hey, if you want to do some shows with RJ and I, let us know. we'll happily
Which
welcome
one?
you
You guys
in.
have like 15 of them. right?
Yeah, we can narrow them down. We can branch off.
we go.
We can find some things to
Do
do.
a spinoff.
Yeah, we'll keep you busy. All right, well, good luck this weekend. I know you've got lots of things going on. Excited to see what happens with Trent and Orange. Nervous, excited. I'll
they're
kind
gonna-
of gauge in with you during the day to see how it's looking.
I think they're gonna kill each other, and it's
Yeah.
gonna be terrible.
Definitely. All right, well, thank you for finally sitting down here
Thank
with me,
you.
and best of luck with the ankle.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.